definitely feeling themselves, and they want this feeling to last forever. 7 eliminations already on the board, and you only have, 12 minutes inside the game done? And you already have 7 eliminations wrapped up. This can be a high elimination game. One of those YouTube VODs,
Oh yeah, definitely.
They can post it on their YouTube channels and be like, high elimination game inside a PMPL lobby. Ooh.
Well, more than the previous Miramar?
More, maybe, yeah, 32. Why not?
That is going to be interesting if they actually pull off 32 eliminations in this game.
That'll be a record.
Yeah, that's going to be an unbreakable record of some sorts.
I mean, what, you have like
32.
64? You have like 64 players in the lobby, and if you're going to be
Yeah.
wiping out like 30 players or even 32, it's like you're already wiping out like almost half the lobby.
So here's the thing, right? You have 64 players in the lobby, including your team. -4, that's like 60 players. You go 30 eliminations, that's half the lobby right there.
Yeah, literally. That's literally half the lobby. Imagine. I mean, they have gone close to it as well in the past. In some previous games. So, it shouldn't be that easy for this team. They can definitely try and go just all guns blazing if they want. They do have a decent amount of points, even in the overall standings. But maybe if they are eyeing out for that first spot, then it makes a lot of sense if they just want to keep it pinned down for themselves. A1 Esports could have been a big problem here, if I'm not wrong. One player's knocked out on the side of A1 Esports too, so now extra risk cannot be taken from their side. The next circle shifts on up a little bit on the northern side, but also tilted on the right side at the same time. John Mara having a little control of that circle pretty well. 2-2 split from their side as well. TRZ moving inside the circle. Seal right in the smack center near Corey. From the back is A1 NB moving in. Wizzy's club can be the biggest threat for the players of A1.
Let's see though. TRZ on our screens, and do have one of the players from the side of Jan Mara, basically their neighbor at this point. But Snipe, being extremely cautious, as he always is just making sure that he has a position of the opposition. He has his teammates right behind, finally taking a few shots on the door. I believe just prepping up the players of TRZ for the assault that is headed upon their direction. On the other side, so I want to talk about the shift of the zone. The zone moving towards the northeastern side of the previous one does in fact force the Warriors and Godlike Stalwart to go up against each other. Well, one of the possible scenarios is a fight breaking out between the two teams, unless the Warriors, who all of a sudden found themselves on the outer side of the zone, are going to start taking a wide rotation, just completely negating the presence of Godlike Stalwart and the teams around them. But look at that, DE are going to lose a player to Godlike Stalwart, as Chari, I believe, is the man who has been picked off. True Love was right behind him as well, so I'm concerned about him.
I mean, speak of things, or speak of being concerned, A1 and B are definitely really concerned to leave this vicinity. You can tell from that for sure. They don't really have a lot of confidence in moving out. They're just scouting the areas a lot of times. Hitman's all the way far away from them. It's kind of separated out near the airdrop. I'm not sure that is going to be his target or not, just to go for the airdrop, but so far he's definitely on the airdrop. As we have John Mara, Snap YT, just knowing the fact that there's a team in the front, TRZ as well. They're not one of those teams that'll try to make mistakes like these. TRZ, they have learned a lot from their mistakes in the past, so I don't think so. They are going to try to fight no matter what. They will keep their heads tucked down and wait for the enemy team to make a mistake. A godlike Stalwart against the players of Deadeye Skies, and that's quite a long-range duel, but Pika anyways wants to take that.
This has to be one of the slowest games of Sanhok I've witnessed in a while. I mean, a lot of action, but now finally some action breaking out. But that was in another direction where we saw one of the players from the side of getting knocked out, instantaneous trade. But look at this, the push coming in from the players of DE Warriors, as Gajor is all of a sudden going to find himself outnumbered. Easy takedown for Sneak over there. And A1 Esports is falling left, right, and center. They do manage to get a trade, though, as Doc is going to be knocked out, but should be an easy revive for the Warriors, considering they've already knocked out, in fact, finished off two of the players from the side of A1 Esport, and the other two players are not even here.
Yeah, they're just eating these teams alive like it's nothing. We've seen so many fights being taken from the side of DE Warriors, and the only action that we've seen so far is actually from the side of DE Warriors. But now finally, we do switch our camps on the players of IHC, where they've only got one last man alive. What just happened to IHC? Oh, speak of things falling down and crumbling down in IHC, that's what is exactly happening right now. Wizzy's club, they almost wiped out the existence of the entire team, and last man is now deciding to disengage from this one and fall back. I'd see what just exactly happened. How are they down to just that one last man alive? Alex, so much threat to deal with at this point, also getting shot at in the back. No way alive, and he's going to be taken away from the game. Alex out the fray. I'd see out on the 16th spot, the first team to get eliminated inside Sandhawk.
Well, what a fight. I thought it was going to be quite difficult for them to recover, but no. Wizards Club, they stand up tall and are going to be the reasons. In fact, IHC is not going to be in this game, and what a weird day, IHC. The first team to be eliminated in a game of Sano. So, yeah, unusual things do happen, but finally we're down to 15 teams, 46 players alive, and I believe it's going to be 14 teams soon as Hitman is getting pushed upon by Nirzet from the side of DE Warriors, and he just stands there while he shoots him in the face. An easy takedown over there, but the backstab is upon them. DE Warriors, as a nade from the side of, I believe it was Seal Esport, is going to drop one of the players, and Raw Official coming in with the third party. Oh my goodness, the most aggressive team inside the game just get destroyed, and it took the combined powers of some of the biggest name in the lobby, just picking off one individual at a time, and well, the Warriors are nowhere to be seen now.
They just got picked off from all the different teams at the same time. They positioned themselves in the worst spot possible. They were going for a high elimination game, but unfortunately stepped inside a territory they should not have. And they just got greeted by a lot of teams at the same time. Seal, Godlike, Stalwart, and a couple of more teams were able to get it their fair share in that fight. Wizzy's club, where Domain is just getting ticked off. The Molotov is just burning this man down to a crisp. Wade really wanted to go for the rest of the fallen player, but now Scotland's Gaming getting shot at in the back. It's going to be the players of 1952 knocking on their doors. They found the opening. Wizzy's club might just have a little help.
Well, let's see though. Quaid. He's going to be under so much pressure, but he does see Jax on the flank running out in the open. Easy takedown, and has to go for the finish at this point. Otherwise, 1952, they will react to this. He has 5 first aids on him, Quaid. He can use those to at least survive in the blue for a few extra moments, but it's going to be quite difficult now since his information, his position has been revealed to the opposition. Oh, Elementrix, Bishal out in the open, Assassin going for a few shots, but none of them connecting on the opposition. High voltage, 2-man roster still surviving. Assassin and Praveen moving together. First challenge that stands in their way is finding the entry and also surviving the assault from Elementrix. But look at this. Seal Esports, they are a team on a mission now. They started things off by picking off one of the players from the side of DE Warriors with an 8, and now I think their crosshair is set on the players of Godlike Stalwart, since they have already picked off 2, and now they're going to go for more.
Go for more, and Seal, yeah. Other than DW, Seal is the only team that has a lot of elimination wrapped up next to the players of Wizzy's club. But Godlike Stalwart, they're still inside the lobby, and you can never count them out in these type of moments. I said Seal, they are also looking pretty aggressive, but Godlike Stalwart are looking to stop them in their tracks, but they get shot at in the back themselves. It's the players of Deadeye Skies now inflicting a lot of pain and hurt. Any sort of shots hurt, and you're instantly going to get third-partied. That's the name of the game so far.
Let's see though. Laser over here. Gangster as well. Was knocked out, getting a revive from his teammate. Venom Legends still holding their own in this game. But oh, massive mistake from Gangster, and all of a sudden, Venom Legends, I saw their players a few seconds ago, and now Susan is the last player left standing for his team. What is going on? Seal Esports also getting destroyed on the other side. Wizards Club are down to their last player. coming down to their last player, 1952 Raw. All the teams just shattering. Their hopes and dreams of winning this game crumbling right in front of their eyes. Only two teams left with actual players. I mean, numbers advantage on their side. TRZ and Gianmara.
Yeah. All the four
Both
players
these teams
up.
are in the bottom of the rankings, by the way.
Yeah, indeed are. And TRZ, the only reason why they have all the four players up is because of that compound. And now they will need to leave that and make it inside the circle where the final zone is being dominated by the players of high voltage because the circle shifted right on top of them. And even the players of Deadeye Skies are now making an entry inside the circle. SNS Giant Mara will need to move in too. This is going to be an interesting collision between these teams. But they're definitely waiting for the players of TR to step out, and yep, that's what they were exactly waiting for. Two players stacked inside their vehicle, and both of them just ejected out. Knocked out the fray. High voltage as well. They're looking to steal those elimination points away, and that's what they're exactly going to do. Found the elimination onto Mad Cat. Kind of stealing it away at the same time, but look at Atomic just going for a med strat inside the compounds. Even Mr. Bora from the side of Skylights Gaming is still going for the same strat. But now Giant Mara themselves will need to move in. That means they will be created by the players of Deadeye Skies, and that's what is exactly happening. But Deadeye Skies so far, they're not really being too complacent inside this fight. Instead, taking things really slow. Nades are being cooked in the hands of No Fear and will connect right on the mark. No Fear finds one, looking to get the confirmation flowing as well. Finally, the position's compromised, and they will also find the beat on the second player. Now Deadeye Skies left with only that one last glimmer of hope alive inside the game. That final pillar, which needs to hold it on and keep the team alive. But he will be sniffed out as well as the final man falls down. We're left with only two teams inside the circle, and the rest of the teams are outside the circle going for a med strat.
Yeah, Gianmara looking so good in this game right now. As you mentioned, only two teams in the zone. TRZ going for a heal battle, and Mr. Bora from Skylight Gaming doing the same as well. It's a 2v4 situation, basically, for the players of high voltage if they want to win this game. And Gianmara, they have a massive high ground advantage, but high voltage, they've snuck their way into the zone quite early. And now if they can just hide themselves in the terrain, they might be able to surprise the players of Gianmara. Just pick them off, but now nothing is going to happen. All the players are on the same plane, and it is going to be quite easy for them to finish off high voltage. This is going to be a win for Gianmara.
Yeah, John Mara is connecting those utilities, and as always, Sanahawk brings in the variety as Giant Mara strikes in with the irons hot, and they get this chicken dinner named up onto themselves. A decent one, too. Not a bad outing at all. 9 elimination points, 24 points in total. The damage dealt of 1247 had really strong control on that compound, and that's what helped him win this entire game.
Well, what a game. I mean, Gianmara have definitely shown up quite nicely in this particular match, but what I really want to see is how many eliminations did DE Warriors walk away with. They had quite a few, even though they were picked off super early in the game. I believe last I remember seeing was already 9 or 10 eliminations. And after that, they destroyed one more team, so that's going to be a few more extra points to them. But yeah, I have no idea how the Warriors just all of a sudden went berserk in this game of Sanok. They did have the momentum with themselves, but also that also brings us to the fact that they got so distracted in terms of fighting that they forgot to worry about the other teams that were surrounding them. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a very short break, so just stay tuned, keep watching. We'll be back after this.
लाइफमा अब अप्स एन्ड डाउन भइरहेको छ होइन सबैकोमा कहिले खुसी कहिले दुःख त्यो भइ नै हुन्छ अब के गर्नै गर्ने टाइपको अब एउटा डिप्रेस एउटा स्ट्रेस मान्छे भइसकेको थिएँ अनि हुन्छ नि
Welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the PMPL South Asia Fall Season of 2022, brought to you by the Oppo F21 Pro. This is Super Johnny, joined by Necro alongside with me, and even though it was an impressive finish from Jan Mara, the question still remains, was this enough to get them close to the top 12? And to be very honest, Necro, I don't think so. We saw them on the 16th position in terms of the overall league ranking. In terms of this ranking, they were really far away from the rest of the competition entirely.
I mean, they definitely are inside this week without a doubt, but this chicken dinner maybe can help them climb up a little bit. But DEW, no matter what, even though they got eliminated quite early off inside the game, you still have an MVP. And they got eliminated like so early in the game, and how is he still able to stay the MVP of that game? This is just impressive.
It just goes to show how deadly the lads from the side of the Warriors were, and I mean it was just a rampage they were on, and the objective seemed pretty clear: just destroy every single team that you see.
I mean, as I said, they were looking like the next INC when I was casting. I literally said this. I said, for now, DEW are literally looking like the next INC. They're not caring about anything in the world, straight up challenging the fights. And the only reason I said that is when they made the push happen on top of the hill. Making that push happen on top of the hill, considering you know you're going to be an uphill battle, but they still did it no matter what without even caring about a single thing, just speaks volumes about this team and how much confidence they're having inside the game. They're definitely feeling themselves. They're definitely feeling the heat right now, and they really do want to convert that heat into some succession. As we have Giant Mara somehow winning that previous game, they had all the 4 players alive in the end too, and also had a solid hold on that comp, and that's what secured them this game. Also wiped out the existence of Deadeye's guys in the final moments. Those nades were placed perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, the utility usage was very much on point, but again, going on to the last game of the day, I think all of that is not going to matter. I think teams are just going to go YOLO in that last next match that is going to happen. And even on Levik, I think it's going to be an interesting situation. But for now, with the player focus right in front of us, we did talk about Nirzit as well. East following him up with a brilliant teamwork that the two players did in fact display inside of this game. And it wasn't just these two. Doc was also doing pretty well up until he just was taken out completely in the open. But ladies and gentlemen, looking at the match summary, we will have Nirzit as the man with the highest damage just out inside of the game, which was 614. But it is Santa. We're always going to look at those healing numbers, and it looks like Devil Boy from the side of 1952 is going to have the highest heals in the game, 2,058.
I mean, he was going for the match strat, and we did see 1952 as well go down when the final 2 teams were alive inside the circle. So, makes a lot of sense. Yeah, this man was able to squeeze in a lot of meds in those moments. Then you also have Mr. Boro going for a sort of med strat. I did mention this as well during the cast, that Mr. Boro is still going for the same strat himself. We also did see one player from the side of TRZ going for that one. So, yeah, a lot of teams are trying to take the advantage of the fact that you can find a beat on the zone somehow inside the game of Sandhawk, where if you do have the enough amount of first aids, you will be able to out-heal the zone.
Yeah, and it is going to be very important. So timing becomes very important when you're doing something like that, because even if you are half a second off, you are basically gone. But looking at the rankings of this game, we do have Jan Mara finishing off with 24 points, and there it is. So look at the team on the 4th position, the Warriors. No placement points, but still make it to the top 4. Why? 11 eliminations within the first. I don't know. How long were they alive? Like, one lad was alive till the 18-minute marker, the other was went, I think, for like 11, 12 minutes. They were all out. 3 players were out of the game.
Yeah, they got eliminated really early. They got eliminated so early that even we were saying, "Oh, what just happened?" They just got eliminated within a blink of an eye, and that's what we said, right? But again, as I mentioned even during the cast, that they just walked inside a territory full of teams, and every single team got a fair share amount of elimination points against the players of DEW. This cavalry right here arrived perfectly. This just completely flipped the tables against the players of GSM. It seemed like at the start sort of GSM could have won the fight against DEW, but that was not the case. DEW is just proving that they're miles ahead of teams like those. The Vizzy's club against the players of Scotland's Gaming, we also did see Side C getting dismantled quite early off inside the game, and then only Lee having one last man to survive off. And high voltage, yeah, in the final moments, as I mentioned, the circle shifted right on top of them. And they weren't able to stay alive to the second spot, but yeah, in the end, they got cleaned up by the players of Giant Mara because the man advantage was playing in their favor. As you do have the overall rankings off this week in front of you, and of course, the first or the top five isn't going to change at all. It's going to remain the same. Instead, Raw is on a climb, and even Wizzy's club is on a climb. That means upcoming game is going to mean quite a lot to these teams.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to mean quite a lot for these lads, and it is going to be quite interesting to see exactly how they make it happen. Whatever their wants are, they would just have one game to do it. I saw 3 teams up above with a 170-point tie over there. It's going to be interesting to see where they go after that particular match. But moving on to the next page of the rankings, ladies and gentlemen, which is going to be the most important page, because the top 12 only get to play the living game. Now, we do see Web Legends still holding on to that 12th position with 130 points to their name, but Dax can, well, if they get a win, they can change all of that. A 9-point advantage.
I mean, interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
But again, top 12 is the name of the game, ladies and gentlemen. If you do want to play that limit game and have a little bit of change in the pace, the top 12 is what you really need to go for. But at this point, the amount of damage that is being already dealt, even top 12 is not going to do anything for teams like A1 and B, or even teams like other teams like Giant Mara, I guess, because as Johnny mentioned, even inside the week one, things were looking quite shaky for even that team.
Yeah.
And if I'm not wrong, Giant Mara in the overall league standings, they're kind of like still on that shaky spot, but I would say they are doing quite better inside this week after that chicken dinner. But Johnny, time to move on to the predictions and predict. I'm gonna let you go first this time. Go.
Alrighty. It is the last game of the day, so that usually means Godlike Star Wars is not going to be there. That means I will go with the Warriors.
You really are gonna do that, dude. You know they are currently
I'm going to
the
do
strongest
something
team.
else in a while that's going to surprise you even more.
Dude,
You pick a team.
you are just gonna grief me, man. And I
No,
just
no,
know,
pick a team.
I know. You're just gonna do it. Okay, you know what? As you've done that, and Group A sitting it out, Godlike Stalwart could be my savior, but that's not the case because they're sitting it out. Who am I gonna go with? I'm gonna surprise you with my pick. That's for sure. I'm gonna go with the high voltage. Let's go, man.
Alrighty. So, my friend over in production, could you please change my pick to high voltage as well?
No. Okay, then change mine too.
No,
I want
get
you to
to do
change
this.
mine. I want you to change mine to Dead Eyes, guys. Change
I
mine
have
to
made
Dead Eyes,
the
guys.
effort of getting to know the producers, just being friends with them.
Dude, this is just Bayzed. This is just biased. What? This is just biased, man. This is called ganging up on an innocent person.
Yeah, that's what you get for showing up late to work.
Oh my god, man. Jesus.
We make evil plans behind your back now, and yeah. So now, Necro, before you cross the road every single day, you have to check both sides of the streets. You know how, right? You just go. That's how you check both sides of the street.
What do you mean both sides of the street? What?
You look to the left, and then you look to the right.
Let's just move on inside the final game of the day, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's not going to be exactly the final game, but it is going to be the final game of the regular schedule. But then later on, we're going to be kicking things off with the bonus game, of course, which is going to be played on Livic. Now, the final game is going to mean quite a lot to the teams that are barely about to qualify inside the top 12, especially 13, 14, and 15 spot. Under that, it's going to be next to impossible for those teams to even try and cover that much amount of points, unless if you're just going to go ham, especially teams like T2K who are capable of doing something like that. We've seen them over the years, but inside B2, their performance has dropped down drastically, and that has just surprised me.
So, I mean, and it has been a massive drop because T2K, I mean, we have been talking about since morning about this team. Week 1, they got 165 points, which is going to sound pretty decent, but considering, as we did mention, first 2 days straight to kill were in the top 2, neck and neck against Godlike Stalwart, neck and neck against with the rest of the teams. High Voltage was doing pretty well for themselves, but then from there the drop becomes quite significant. We all of a sudden see them finish on the 13th and 14th position. No, I think they finished 11th. They played in the living game. They walked away with 165 points in the first week. Now, this week, they just struggled their way to 82-point tally so far. And I think that has gone up after the few matches that have already happened. So this was just